come to today's session. And today's session, of course, being very specific to Metaverse. And to talk about this, I have with me Sunil Arora, who is the co-founder of Trace Networks. Sunil, one more time, a very, very good afternoon to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for this welcome and this great opportunity. I'm very, very sure the way things have happened in the last few events that we have had together, it's a great opportunity not only for us to connect with the right kind of people, it's also a great opportunity for the industry to know more, to adopt new technologies, and to know and learn new and novel ways of working and growing from there. So that's the basic idea of this association. And yes, we are happy that we are in a position to fulfill that. And I believe all the visitors, all the spectators, all the audience, everybody who's there, in whichever form, in whichever model, and whichever platform, they'll be appreciating that part of it, that yes, we are coming up to that level. And that's what the idea is. So let us take it forward.
Wonderful. Before that, I might just give you a brief introduction about Sunil. Sunil, by the way, if you've been into the industry, needs no introduction. He is his career spans around more than 35 years, and from a professor at NIFT to going into the industry, for that matter, worked all across the globe. I have in the past couple of years interacted with a lot of people, and to whomsoever I've spoken, I'm sure I know that they already know Sunil, for that matter. That is the credibility he brings to the table. And yes, now he has gone from a very conventional professional professor and a teacher to going into the startup arena, bringing Trace Networks to you, and Metaverse, the latest in the world, for that matter, bringing that to you. That is what Sunil is for you guys. So I'm absolutely delighted to have this conversation, or a series of conversations which we have been doing. And setting the context here, we started, by the way, friends, with talking about very basics on Metaverse a couple of sessions back, whereby we started discussing about what Metaverse is all about, right? And if any one of you who are new to the session today and still wondering what it is, we may not be able to repeat all of that, but I would highly recommend that you go to SowtexConnect, go for search for Metaverse session, or simply look for Sunil, and you will be able to see the sessions associated with him. And you will be able to see a session which talks about the basics of Metaverse. That was number one. And then last month, when we had this discussion, we took it a step ahead, whereby we spoke about how the Metaverse, we actually saw some initial renderings of how the Metaverse may function. What are the avatars? Very interesting session indeed. It gave me a lot of visualization about it. So look for that session if you haven't yet seen the avatars. And there specifically, we spoke about the B2C environment and how we can look at business to consumer, B2C side of your businesses and Metaverse, and what are the possibilities, right? Our session today is going to focus on two elements, two segments. One, continuing our session on B2C, if I talk about, like all of us in the schools and the colleges have gone into the theory and the practical. So I would say a session from the last time had more of theory, but still a lot of knowledge and a touch of practical, whereby we could see some visual effects on the avatars and a bit of how the avatars move into the Metaverse. Today, we will look at the practical side of B2C, whereby we will actually look at an environment and you will see people moving into it, right? An avatar moving into it. So we will look at the implementation of B2C businesses into Metaverse. That's number one. And after we have done that, we will also then go into understanding about how can businesses really thrive with B2B businesses. I'm talking about specifically how can buyers and suppliers come together and talk about real-time business in Metaverse. So these are the two different topics we will be discussing today. So Sunil, continuing our discussion from the last time, I would still briefly request you to set the context with regards to the possibilities with B2C, right? And then show us some visuals, show us something about how can people really, really engage their consumers and the prospects in the B2C environment.
Sure, sure. I fully agree with that. Yes, the B2C environment that we talked about is basically the next level of scenario where e-commerce has left the brands or the retailers with. Genuinely, e-commerce is a lot of convenience. It's a lot of commerce and a lot of convenience, but you genuinely lose connect with the brand. You go to Amazon, you give your basic details. Yeah, I want this t-shirt, this color, this is my size, this is my price range, and they probably present 4 different options from 4 different brands to you. Whatever you like, you say, okay, I order all of them, because you know if you do not like them, you can easily return it. So that's a lot of convenience, but your brand connect goes. That's one aspect. The other thing which goes is the shopping experience. You do not have any shopping experience in e-commerce. So that is what is bothering the brands, because ultimately what you're remembering is Amazon, what you're remembering is Flipkart, what you're not remembering is the name of the brand which they wanted you to at least connect to, at least remember that, so that the next time you go, you ask for it, that I want a t-shirt which is, let's say, Glare, but you have forgotten what Glare is. It could be a small brand, it could be a medium-sized brand, it could be a big brand. If it is a big brand, you remember a few things, but if it's a small or a medium-sized brand, you normally forget that. All you remember is that I got something from Amazon and I selected that, it probably would be in my history.
Yeah,
that's a lot of convenience, but losing all kind of brand connect. So that's where digital fashion, that's where experiential commerce, that's where metaverse, that's where Web3 is coming in to help both the consumers as well as the brands and retailers to utilize these activities, you utilize these concepts to connect with the brands. It is starting from where you left, where e-commerce left you, it is starting from there. So it is giving you a genuine virtual atmosphere, the convenience of e-commerce, and it is giving you the possibility of buying in that virtual e-commerce, virtual immersive atmosphere. That is what we call as experiential commerce. It is giving you the experience, it is giving you the commerce, it is giving you the convenience, it is giving you everything that you want. And then it is also giving you the possibility of selling digital only goods or connecting it to the physical side of it. So the possibility of phygital goods, the selling of digital only goods, the experimentation of sampling, which you want to forego, the experimentation aspect of sampling, you can easily forget about that, because in a digital atmosphere, you can genuinely create things today and start selling it tomorrow. And depending on the sale of that, you can genuinely plan out, depending on the traction of that, you can genuinely plan out what is to be manufactured. And that gives you a trend of that what needs to be manufactured in which areas it is doing well, which colors are doing well, which silhouettes are doing well. So you can do all that. So these are multiple concepts and multiple benefits attached to experiential commerce. So which we talked about last time. So just to show you the practical side of things, I'll just share my screen. Let me know when you can see it.
absolutely.
I hope you can see it now.
Yes, I can see it. Please go ahead.
Very well. So this is the experiential commerce scenario, a B2C atmosphere. This is a showroom, a virtual showroom, complete 3D atmosphere. I am controlling it. I'm seeing it my way. This is my avatar sitting inside, and I am moving it now. I can go see things, go around whatever the way I want to do it. I'm in a position to do it. Go around here and say that Now I want to try this kind of clothes. So these three mannequins are wearing some clothes. I want to try this one. I click on that. It gets tried onto my testing. And if I click on this one, it gets tried onto my this thing. If I like it, I can probably have multiple of my friends joining me and helping me in shopping, or I can go to this mirror. I can go to this mirror and look at it and see whether I look good in it or not. So this is the shopping experience I'm talking about, where you are controlling the overall atmosphere. Everything is 3D. All products are 3D. Your avatars are 3D. The environment is 3D. And you are in a position to have a genuine shopping experience over here. Multiple people can join at one time. And you can have all garments, all products that are being sold in this place. Like these perfume bottles are there. You can buy that. There is a possibility of buying these clothes, and you have the possibility of buying these hats are there, caps are there. You can buy these. You can buy coats. You can buy glasses. You can buy all these kind of bags. So this is a normal shopping atmosphere. This shopping experience, this shopping atmosphere can be built as per the brand design. The collection can be of your own, so that your own collection can be put over there. You have the possibility of coming into it and trying out things, buying things either as digital or as physical, where some things can be available in digital only form. Some things can also be available in the physical form. So you have the possibility of buying physical also, digital also, and the physical side of things get connected to your e-commerce, and the digital sites can easily be bought from here. So this is the environment which more and more forward-looking brands have already started to adopt, and they are in a position to come over here. People can join in as avatars, and you can generally buy it over here and do all that kind of a thing. This is one of the novel ways, absolutely novel, revolutionary ways of working, revolutionary ways of buying. And experiential commerce is now a genuine thing which the brands can benefit from.
Wonderful, wonderful. I see that it gives me the real-time actually visualization and realization of how I can move forward. Although I just see, Sunil, that your avatar looks too younger than what you are. I know that you are very young at heart, but the avatar looks really young, which is wonderful.
No. Generally speaking, that was not my avatar. That was one of the guest avatar I used to showcase that. I can also, anybody can join on my platform, make their avatars,
yes,
and genuinely go around the showroom. Because I'm on a webinar, I did not have the time to probably create that in front of you. Yes. Otherwise, those avatars can be created on our platforms, and those avatars can be then used on any of our brand partners, and you can go and have a look at those brand partners in their virtual atmosphere, and probably start to buy things when the sale is on.
Wonderful. And this is the point which I definitely wanted to see, and I saw it last time as well, that you can be very, very close to exactly the way you look. The avatar gets created in a matter of seconds and minutes, for that matter. And then there you go. You are ready to roll within the metaverse environment. That's what these are the possibilities, what it look at. From the time I saw last time on the B2C platform, today when I can see, I can go into a showroom, do a real-time shopping, for that matter. This definitely opens up a lot of possibilities. And yes, I can see some of the people have started messaging, and I would request at this point all the people who are seeing our session at this point of time, if there are any questions to you which are appearing at this moment, you can leave a question in the Q&A box, which is there right at the bottom or top, depending upon the device you are in. And we are going to make sure that Sunil helps you answer these points. And if there are any questions, or any one of you later on want to connect and talk to Sunil, we will be more than happy to help you connect to them. But of course, you will have to leave information with us so that we can help you connect. I see some of the questions which are coming. Sunil, it may be actually a good idea to take a couple of questions at this point of time because they are very B2C pertaining, right? And then I will come to B2B for that matter.
No
For
issues.
example, Nelly Nelly Cools has asked a question. What happens to the fittings in this case?
All these fittings are genuinely done exactly the same way you do in a physical atmosphere. All these fittings are also available as 3D. You need to genuinely buy all the fittings that you put in that showroom, whether they are sofa, any kind of furniture is there, or any kind of a lighting or a TV set you want to put, or any kind of a wallpapers you are putting on your this thing, or maybe there's a painting like this, or any kind of lights which you are putting, or some kind of a flooring you're doing some kind of there are some kind of a curtain or something like that. All that needs to be bought as 3D from, there are multiple sources and multiple content creators are attached to us. The other thing is all your products are also available as 3D. So all your products which the buyer is buying is getting it as NFT. His avatar is, he's making an avatar and entering in, that is also an NFT which is given over to him. So you are making your avatar, which is given to you as NFT. You are buying digital clothes, which are given to you as NFT, and you can then move around into various other kind of platforms, digital platforms and landscapes with all that. And the overall shopping atmosphere that is there is also an NFT and is given to the brand as an NFT. So tomorrow, in case you want to start developing your own atmosphere, you have all that available as an NFT because you are the owner of that atmosphere. So that is also given to you as an NFT. So complete everything has a blockchain connectivity, complete presence over there, and this is given to you as a set of NFTs, and those NFTs are then are saleable, purchasable exactly in the same way like you do in a normal real estate scenario. So all those things which you see in genuine real estate is available in Metaverse in a virtual form.
Wonderful, wonderful. So Nelly, I hope we've been able to answer your question. And in case any one of you have more questions, Nelly says yes, of course. Ajay Maurya says it's good to know. So thank you so much, guys, for asking the questions. And yes, in case any one of you have more questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box or the Q&A box, and we will definitely be able to answer it. On the Q&A box, there's another question which I would like to take, Sunil, before we go on to the B2B section. This is an anonymous attendee. I'm sorry we didn't get your name here. Can we get some stats on the approximate footfalls and successful transactions these B2C brands are receiving? Sunil, you can tell us.
I'm not in a position to take names or anything. Yes, whatever names are available, you can easily search for it on Google. There are various things available. And yes, your stats, when you join with me on that particular thing, complete stats would be available to you. Which styles are doing well, which colors, which things, which are being tried on, which are being touched and interacted with, which are being sold, which geographies are doing well. A complete atmosphere, complete analysis available to you, because that is what gives you, that is what gives the augmentation to any kind of a futuristic predictive analytics that you might be using, or any kind of trend analysis you might be using. It's a new way of doing those trend analysis and predictive analytics, and it has a much better and a much more informed data than any of the predictive analytics available right now. I have been selling predictive analytics myself, which was worth probably 20 different times than what I'm selling this particular thing at. So more than $1 million worth of one particular software has been sold by me. But now I have much better options for you to do much better informed decision making through my platform, which is not a platform giving you predictive analytics, which is a platform giving you experiential commerce.
Wonderful.
So when you are in a position to see your thing in a live atmosphere where you can probably put all your experimentation on your platform, and that experimentation can genuinely be looked at in terms of the analysis. That's a more definitive way of people liking a particular color or a silhouette or a design or a style, or in which geographies the overall scenario is working. You have that in a much better form, rather than any kind of a history which you analyze, rather than any kind of a trend analysis that you do.
So Sunil, another question which I'm sure will be in the minds of a lot of people. For example, I just came from a trip from US, and the similar brands which I see here, the usual ones which you now see in India, there are many brands which are there internationally as well. And they of course came to India on another side. And I see that the kind of styles which were being displayed in the Indian subcontinent and the American subcontinent are completely different, or very, very different for that matter. I want to ask you that in this metaverse which you showed to us right now, what are the possibilities for a B2C brand to differentiate it based on the geography? Who all can come onto what kind of showroom and all that? What are the possibilities around that?
I'm in a position to give you a complete this thing, that who all have come. Of course, their names are not there. The scenario is I have their addresses. Those addresses are not shared with anybody. I'm giving you just the numbers, and those numbers have a blockchain backing on that. It's not that I'm giving you some kind of a imaginary number or anything of that kind. So all these things are getting stored in blockchain. It is giving you an information of what is happening, which styles are doing well. You probably put a complete the same e-commerce site is selling to one area of geography, also the other area of geography also, and in one geography different styles can be having a lot of traction. In the other area, different types of things can be having a different traction. So you have the possibility of seeing which all areas and which all styles have done well, which are my top 10, which are my top 100, how many numbers are there, which colors are doing better, silhouettes, styles, amount of time a person spends on a particular style, what level of interaction has happened and he's bought it, what level of interaction has happened and he's not bought it. So you have all those kind of pluses and minuses available, and then accordingly you are in a position to plan out what needs to be done on the physical side of things, what needs to be manufactured as per that.
Wonderful. Okay, great. I have another question, but with regards to B2B, which I will talk once we get to B2B. I will take one more question before we actually go ahead onto the B2B side. The question is, if you have any idea about what apparel product categories are currently trending in Meta, is there any specific guideline or some trend around that?
No, genuinely, the t-shirts are doing exceptionally well, because you can simple t-shirts. I'm not saying only the round neck t-shirts. It could be a polo or a t-shirt or a jean. These are the 2-3 categories which are doing exceptionally well, because on t-shirts you are printing a lot of NFTs. On t-shirts you're probably giving a lot of information. On t-shirts you're doing a lot of advertisement, and more brands are now putting their advertisements on the t-shirts, selling that as NFT, and that once you buy that t-shirt, that's an entry point into another event or another club or another scenario where you have that exclusivity by buying that t-shirt. So t-shirt category is doing exceptionally well, and more and more, and generally all younger brands means a brand which are catering to the younger generation. They all have t-shirts, polos and jeans or trousers as the best category in which the sale is happening, even in the physical side of things also. But on the metaverse side, it's happening even more. Jeans and t-shirts, mainly round neck t-shirts, are doing exceptionally well.
Wonderful. Okay. So I hope your question has been answered. May I request just type in a name alongside it, if possible, because at times we actually see it as an anonymous attendee where we are not able to recognize your name for that matter. So yes, now let's go on to our second segment, since we've answered and spoken about B2C quite a bit today already. Sunil, B2C is one, definitely. Can you tell us some of the possibilities now on the B2B side? You know, and an ecosystem around the buyers and suppliers where they can seamlessly interact with each other. They look at the possibilities. How does that work in Meta? Tell us more about the possibilities and the swiftness and interaction which can be produced out of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. In a B2C atmosphere, the scenario is that a retailer is putting his complete collection over there, and he is giving the possibility for his consumers or anybody else to come onto it. Could be his loyal consumers, it could be the new consumer, it could be anybody who is moving around a mall wanting to come onto your store. So all that is happening. So that's where he's attracting you by putting a showcase, by putting advertisement of that particular showroom, or maybe having a large glass kind of a scenario where things can be seen from outside and stuff like that. So that is a B2C atmosphere of a showroom where people are coming and they're all thronging in with their friends, and that you are helping each other shop and do that kind of an interaction over there. So that's what the environment is. While the same building blocks can be used in a B2B atmosphere in a very, very different way. In a B2B atmosphere, there are two scenarios where on one side, the B2B atmosphere is a sampling showroom where either a sourcing company is wanting to have that showroom in their office, or a manufacturer exporter is wanting to have that in their office. And he calls his buyers not in one go, but one by one. Mm-hmm. So these are the buyers on the exporting side. These are the overseas buyers. In the local side, these are the buyers who are MBOs and other kind of people who are buying their things, or these are the buyers who are selling their products which they are manufacturing or sourcing. So in the same atmosphere, you are available with your team. You are calling the buyers and their teams to have a look at things, select things, define more or different changes into it. It could be a design discussion, it could be a merchandising discussion, it could be a costing discussion, it could be a discussion about manufacturing, it could be any kind of a business booking discussion. So you are having a similar kind of an atmosphere, but that atmosphere is built as per the buyer who is coming in, as per what he buys. So you are setting up your showroom. That's how it is done in the physical atmosphere. You have a single showroom and one buyer is visiting you. You probably set up that atmosphere as per the buyer who is coming, and you build it as per that. You probably it is themed around that. You showcase the thing around that. You show the collections which could be of interest to him. He could only be buying a particular category or multiple categories. So you dependent on what his present scenarios, or maybe his requests on what he wants to buy. You have given and collected the products over there and showcased over there. That's what happens. And in order to have a next buyer meeting, you probably need to remove all those and set it up again as per the next buyer meeting. Yes. So that is how it happens in a physical atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I'll just again share my screen.
Yes, please.
I hope you can see all that.
I can see the screen. You can make it full screen, please. Yes.
Yeah, I'll just make it full screen.
Perfect. Go ahead, please.
So you can see it?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay. So what happens in this kind of atmosphere? What happens in a traditional atmosphere? That is what I'm talking about. In a traditional atmosphere, you have the limitations of setting up physical showrooms. You cannot have so many showrooms that you can have multiple buyer meetings in one day or stuff like that, because you have a physical limitation of the space that you have. Then you need to move the samples of every brand. So if you're dealing with, let's say you are an exporter and dealing with, let's say 20 different buyers, and one of the guy is coming over here, so you'll probably be showcasing him only his styles or styles he's interested in rather than any other kind of styles. And in any case, you're not allowed to show other styles to a particular buyer in any case. Then you have the challenges of physical movement of people from distant places. If your buyer is overseas or his teams are also in some other areas, having all of them come to your showroom in one go is an exercise in itself.
Yeah,
that becomes a scenario. Then there is a hassle of redesigning sample room themes for each brand collection. That's a very, very normal this thing in physical atmosphere. That is how it happens. So the current collaboration style is collaboration on Zoom calls is relatively inefficient because you are zooming on one, you're wanting to showcase some products are available with you, some products are available with your buyer, he's wanting to showcase something from their side. So all that is happening, or maybe you're sharing screens on some. So it's not a very, very collaborative. It's not 100% kind of a collaboration. It's half of it. So making notes for every sample design is not very structured. Trying the samples on models for review is having its logistic challenges because some models are available with the buyer, some are available with you. So you are wanting that, putting that onto a mannequin or putting that onto one of the team members who's a model for that particular thing is an exercise in itself. Then closure on sampling requires multiple meetings. So that's another aspect of it. You, in case you need to have a closure on particular sample, then you definitely require multiple meetings on that in the physical atmosphere. So what is missing is convenience of movement, then easiness to set up as many sample rooms as required. You can definitely not have as many as you want. It's impossible. Then ability to create a themed sample room as per brand collection. That is also not possible because how many sample rooms can you have? You can have probably 2 or 3 or something like that, but not like unlimited, not like the number of buyers that you have. So it's not possible. Then ability to quickly put the designs on model to check the sample fit. All that is, of course, not there. Ability to collaborate on sample feedback efficiently. So this is what is missing in a present scenario. So in the futuristic, experiential sample rooms, experiential collaboration is what we call it. You are collaborating with your buyers and we are creating a collaborative atmosphere in which you can genuinely have the possibility of being in one atmosphere at one go. All the people can join from anywhere in the world. You can showcase your things. They can showcase their things. You can put products onto mannequins or onto any of the avatars who's there in the showroom at that time. So be anywhere with your avatar. No physical limitation on setting up experiential sample rooms. So you can probably have multiple sample rooms, each built as per the important buyers that you have. Let's say out of the 20 buyers that you deal with, 5 of them are important. So you can probably set up 5 different sample rooms specifically built as per the themes of that particular buyer, as per the collections already hanging over there of that particular buyer. So you do not have any kind of a physical limitation over here. And then easy to move in and move out samples. So you can easily say Control C and Control V, that kind of a thing where you are moving from your warehouse sampling room. You can easily put anything into any of these showrooms, and these showrooms can then start to act as a particular buyer showroom and try on samples on models or avatars or mannequins on the fly, which is very, very fast and very, very efficient. So convenience plus experiential collaboration. That is what we talk about. Collaborate in a real way with multiple people. So you have the possibilities of doing multiple buyer meetings in a day. Multiple teams can work on it. And you can have one after another, maybe 5 or 10 different buyer meetings in a day itself. Even that is possible. So digital samples are as real as physical. Setting up a sample room with different themes can happen in a matter of few minutes. No hassle of feeding PLM systems with data, because I will integrate all this information. There is a possibility of integrating all this with your like in B2B, B2C atmosphere, I was integrating with your e-commerce. Over here, I'm integrating with your PLM and ERP systems. So you have your costings available, you have all other information, or in case there are any changes, you can easily feed your PLM systems right from this particular scenario, right from the B2B sampling showroom, you can feed into that. So just one click setup of a new sample room as required. So this is what the benefit which is available. So experiential showroom setup, no limitation of space to hold number of samples, easy to invite buyers to any location with a single click, just sending them a simple invite. You can have them here with or without VR glasses. So all that is available. Design your sample room to create more realistic environments to match the collection themes. You can plan it out very easily. Imagine holding any number of buyer meetings in the same day. Absolutely no wastage of time to replace new samples and having multiple possibilities of doing business in a single day. So this is what B2B showrooms are all about. So that is what I would say is something which I wanted to discuss with you today. I'm open for questions right now.
All right. So before I take up a couple of more questions which have already come up, I would like to ask you one more question, Sunil. I could see that the explanation which you gave, to the suppliers, this is numerous possibilities of creating several such ecosystems for their multiple buyers, so that they can show a very select set of collections to them, and the choice becomes much more easier than, for that matter, clearly understood. I would like to look at from another perspective. I would like to look at it from the perspective of a buyer now, right? Let's say we have a sourcing consultants association here, and a lot of other buyers who are coming in, and globally you would want, sitting here, interact with buyers in US, Canada, Brazil, and Europe for that matter, right? What is the incentive? What are the benefits the buyers get to be on this platform? Why would they come? And how they get benefited out of that? It'll be good to know, so that we know that many other people would be looking at that.
Certainly. So it has multifold benefits for the buyer side. The buyer does not need to travel, one aspect. He does not need to collect his teams, which are probably traveling to different places at that time, and to join him in this particular session. They can join from anywhere they are. So yeah, some team members could be with their other buyers, or they could be traveling to do other kind of sourcing. They could be doing any other kind of work. So they can join from anywhere in the world. You can be in a particular area from anywhere in the world. Your teams can be there, and no travel, time saving, and the experimentation cycle is very, very small. I'm soon coming up with designing possibilities right in front of you, where you and your buyer entering into a showroom, not only looking at a completely built thing, but also in a position to probably do some kind of design changes collectively. So it will come to that as a next level. So beside designing, you are in any case in an atmosphere where you are seeing a thing in front of you. All of the people who are going to be deciding about that are present at that moment, and they are in a position to give their comments on it, and those comments are taken. And the fast way of doing, because all these things are available in a digital form, the time taken to do that experimentation is much, much lesser. So you save a lot on your travel and time and expense and effort and money. So it's all these kind of things which are a benefit for the buyer. On the supplier side, I'm very sure that's the next question you are going to be asking. On the supplier side, you have the possibility that you can attract more number of buyers. you can do more number of experimentations with what he says, because otherwise a normal present scenario is doing experimentation in a physical form, and I'm changing it to doing experimentation in a digital only form, because I'm creating in a B2C atmosphere, I'm creating selling digital things also for metaverse. I'm wanting to create out of the same collection, create something for the physical side of things also. So these two different streams of incomes are also available to you. So one which you already know of, the other which is absolutely new. So this new stream of income requires you to adopt some new ways of working, which are greatly beneficial, very, very low investment intensive, completely pandemic free, and giving you possibilities of setting up a small digital collection department in your organization, maybe with 2 people or 1 person to start with, and starting on that thing, and then growing on that, and giving buyers and yourself a different way, a novel way to work.
Wonderful. What I have seen today on the B2C side, and I know that you're building something even unique for the B2B side. All I can say is ye dil mange more. We want to see more. We want to see, and maybe in the next session, you never know that we are able to see some more visualizations on the B2B side for that matter. I really hope that people can see that in the next session.
Hopefully, yes, the teams are on it. I have my teams working in India, in Vietnam, in France, in UK, in US, and soon opening up a new office in Singapore also. So I have all these teams working and supporting all that with our head office in UAE. So all these things are happening, and we are creating waves all around the world with our offerings for our buyers. We are creating an exceptional value for them. We are creating different novel ways of working, which can be adopted by a new set of consumers, which are metaverse friendly, which are digital only. So you are in a position to attract a new set of consumers. You are in a way to engage with the older consumers in a newer form. So you are giving all these kind of possibilities to them.
Super. Wonderful. So as usual, Sunil, there are questions which have started appearing. I would now ask a couple of questions, which is some previous question. Nidhi Mohan says, and I think she was talking about the B2C aspect itself. Can we get an idea of the AOV that's transacting on Meta? Any trends there? Average order value?
Yeah, definitely, these are going into billions of dollars and soon touching trillions. So that's the reason why every luxury brand is already in it, and every retail brand is running to be in it in 2022. So if you are having any kind of an understanding or not an understanding, if you are a certain set of brands which are forward looking, which are wanting to do business for the next decade, so that if you are something like that and you're looking at that kind of a business, you must test it and taste it. That's all I say. You must test it and taste it. Don't think that because you are not in a position to imagine it, don't be limited by your imagination. Just because you're not imagining the thing, just because you're not able to understand that there is something like that can be done. So don't take that idea as a bogus idea. Like everybody said, e-commerce is not going to run in the fashion industry. And today, after 12 years, 12, 13, whatever, 12, 13 years, it is probably the biggest seller on the fashion side. Yeah. Where even myself, I used to say that probably people like to touch it and then try it on and they do this and do that. And now convenience is running much faster than touching and tasting. So that's what I'm saying. That took almost like 12, 13 years. This time it is not going to take 12, 13 years. It is taking 12, 13 months. And if you are gone, then you're gone. It's basically that. So let us put some kind of an energy, some kind of an understanding toward these novel ways of doing business, which are going to be adopted by your buyers, your consumers, and you should be on it as soon as possible.
Okay, good. So Sunil, at this point, a question from Dr. Chandrasekhar Ishwar is very pertinent. He says, please suggest, since virtual sampling is not so effective in the apparel industry so far, right? How do you expect metaverse to be effective in this zone? What are
So
your thoughts on that?
I do not, I would rather like to have one-to-one with the Dr. Ishwaran, who is saying virtual sampling is not effective. So probably his figures are a few years back. So things are changing very, very fast. Virtual sampling has taken a different speed in the times of COVID, and more of CAD companies, whether it is Browseware or Clo or Tuca or any of these, can easily put a claim and they can have figures to them. So probably they can take figures from either Sotex team or from these teams directly. Or in case he wants to have one-to-one with me, I will definitely love to address these questions in a one-to-one way. But generally, his data is very, very old.
Absolutely. In fact, we have at Sotex partnered with Tukatech in the past 2 years, and this is all about 3D sampling for that matter. You create samples and then share it with your consumers, customers. We have seen that with this process, people have highly reduced the whole cycle from a 3-week period to practically 3 hours for that matter. And then the process has gone so fast. So, and we have seen many adopters. Yes, it requires people. It requires a set of qualitative set of people who are required to do these kind of things, which at times becomes a challenge for people. But you have to have an open mind towards it to bring that talent in-house so that you can. But that's an investment you have to make for that matter. Right.
I'll give you another example. Sorry to cut you short. 5 years ago, nobody was even keen to understand that electric cars could be something.
Yes.
5 years ago. And now, you know who is the number one, the number one person in terms of the money aspect, in terms of the earning, who is the number one person? And what does he make? So yes, it's basically the same thing. There are always pluses and minuses of any new concept. I'm not on the plus or the minus side. I'm saying, look at it from a different point of view. Look at it from the possibilities it can create for you, and accordingly, those adoptions will come.
Wonderful.
It's not that I'm trying to sell one side of it or the other side of it. I'm saying, look at the practical side of it, what solutions it gives, what problems it solves, and what is the possibility it can take you to. So basically, on these things grow up fast in a way. Petrol used to be a great thing for these countries where I'm presently in. Now more and more of electric cars are being bought over here, and Absolutely. They're looking at new ways of doing things over here.
Absolutely.
So it's exactly the same thing. There are pluses and minuses, and there are numbers of scenarios on which it's been said that probably Tesla is not going to do well. It is having these problems, that problems, etc., etc., etc. But now look at that. All those news about any of negative scenarios, where have they gone? They're all gone, because some have been settled, some have been understood by people as an advantage, which is much bigger than the kind of disadvantage it can create. So it's basically that. It's basically a perspective that we need to see. It's a comparison between what it can provide and what it is taken from you. So if it is providing more and taking less, so of course, nobody wants to change. Absolutely. Who wants to change to a older ways of working? Who wants to change? Even I do not want to change. I never wanted to have these kind of webinar scenarios. I would rather like to meet all my people one-to-one in person. I used to have those interactions, and that's what I used to love. But how can you have them now? So you get used to the new ways. You need to adopt to either you are forced to adopt the new ways, or probably you understand that these are giving you some kind of positive scenarios and you adopt them. It's basically that. But yes, I would love to have my sessions with Dr. Ishwaran. It will be a great thing to know him. And yes, a doctor attending my session, it's a great honor for me. And I would definitely like to take care of his scenarios with the help of SowtexConnect team.
Wonderful. So as I can see, Sunil, in this whole scenario, what I see is that it cannot be looked at in a silo that you're looking at it as a separate thing. It has to get integrated into the overall scheme of things for you. Both the things, the physical and the digital world, are going to run parallelly. People will have different earning streams out of that, and you have to catch the bandwagon, and that is the reason why we are talking about this at this point of time. And a lot of brands who have physical showrooms have adopted it already, and why not you, right? uh, and this brings me to two questions which are parallelly running on two different medium, on the Q&A as well as on the chat box. A question from Arvind Modi and a question from Nelly Cools, right? And both questions somewhere merged together, whereby we talk about while Nelly talks about the understanding what she needs to, the kind of investment what is required to get into the metaverse, while Arvind Modi asks a question slightly differently, whereby he talks about how can we make our startup in Meta. So if I were to club both the questions, one, we are talking about you having a physical form already, and you bring in an ecosystem like a digital ecosystem here. If some people want to start afresh, they can also do that. So Sunil, help me answer these two questions on this.
Yes, these are the questions which cannot be answered very straight, because it's like saying I want to buy a house. How much can I buy a house in? It totally depends on where you want to have that house. That's one thing. What would be the price of that house? It's totally dependent on that. Then how much will it be to do my house? So that is again a scenario where you require a simple whitewash, or you want to put $100,000 into it to do up your house. It totally depends on that. So there are showrooms which are being built at $50,000. There are showrooms which are being built at $250,000. So depending on what they want to put and display and how they want to particularly portray their showroom, you go to a mall, you see one showroom which is done up so well because they have spent heavily on it. The other showroom of the same size is not being done up so well, and have they spent hardly anything on it. So it's the same scenario. The platform is available for a certain price. What you want to do up in that showroom is the second price. How you want to interact these are the various things on which the things are. So we need to have a one-to-one with these people in case they are keen to go ahead on it, and we can discuss that part with them, that what is the kind of startup which they're wanting to have, or some kind of other thing which they're wanting to have. We can have a look at all that.
Absolutely. So Nelly and Arvind, as I have seen it in the past few sessions, and I've understood from Sunil, this is a very custom made to order solution which will be built for you specifically. There is no such pre-existing ready-made thing which can be just plugged into your system. You would want to create it as per the needs of your products, as per your customers and the kind of people you want to interact with, right? So it'll be in the best of your interest, as well as for Sunil to answer it in the correct manner, if you would like to have a one-to-one conversation with Sunil on this. And yes, as I said, this particular interaction which me and Sunil are doing is to inculcate those thoughts into you all, that these are the possibilities, and yes, it is possible. And yes, an extension or a next step to this is, if you think there is the slightest bit of possibility while you are here in this session, I already understand that you're looking at this particular thought already. And if you think that this could be the possibility for you, for your brand, whether in B2C or in the B2B, then please send us your details at this point. And I would also request at this point, this may be the right moment for my team member Priya to please put in a link at this point into the chat box, and then you could fill in that link. That is simple, an expression of interest, whereby once you fill in this simple Google form, I would be happy to connect through that data of yours to Sunil, and Sunil would like to interact and see the possibilities which you would like to take forward with. So please, the link is already there in the chat box. Please click that link and fill in your details in case you are interested to know more, to explore more, and to see how can you make it a part of your brand journey as well, right? So please go ahead. Uh, now, Dr. Chandra Shekhar Ishwar also asked another question. Okay, can we act uh, as an agent and set up everything on behalf of export houses and connect with the buying office? Is that also a possibility? Sunil, would you like to answer this question?
Yes, yes, that is a possibility, and you can directly connect with Sotex, who are our partners in the whole thing, and they can help you setting up that kind of an activity, and you can directly have a connection with them for that particular purpose.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ishwar, for asking this question. So friends, we have almost come to the end of our session. It's been an hour which we have been interacting. I will go back to Sunil for some last comments around this. But in case you have any more questions around this, feel free to reach out to us or put it at in a Q&A or the chat box at the moment. We will be happy to take up those questions. So Sunil, before we actually close this session, I would like to ask you one more thing, that what's in store for the people for the next set of sessions? Would you like to talk about what's coming in the next month's session?
Yeah, certainly. What I have been doing, one was related to a B2C scenario, the other is a B2B scenario. Then we are setting up other set of sessions which are related to explorations, where you are in a position to genuinely explore, which is related to buyers doing and coming and taking a virtual tour of your manufacturing environments. That's an exploration which he wants to do. Or you are wanting to have conferences and other kind of exhibitions in the metaverse. So that's another aspect where we can have conferences, like Sotex has multiple conferences that they do. So probably in next few months, we'll probably be having some kind of a metaverse conference with Sotex, where you will be having these kind of conferences happening in happening in the metaverse. People can join as avatars, they can do all that kind of stuff. People who are wanting to join as themselves, they need to join as avatars. So all that kind of a thing is there in the next few sessions that we are planning to have. And then we are also wanting to probably give a rewind of the whole thing in a different way, in a overall different offering, with new understanding which you have with the new people joining. We'll like to have recaps of things. So we'll have several things in store for future.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. While Arvind Kumar or Mr. Modi says thank you onto the Q&A box, Dr. Chandrasekhar Ishwar says thank you on the chat box here. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. And Dr. Chandrasekhar, if in case you're interested, I hope you have filled the form. We will need your details, which will be forwarded to Sunil, and his team will connect with you. And then, of course, both of you can have an interaction related to this. So with this, I don't see any more questions coming. Nidhi Mohan says, thank you so much for the meeting. Thank you so much, Nidhi, for attending our session. And I hope it was value to you. So as you see, Sunil has already set the context for the next set of activities which are coming up. And I know that every time I talk to the things are happening so fast in this world of trace networks at this moment, that any next time I talk to Sunil, there is something new updates have already come in. As we talk, their teams are already working in backend to create some magic in the metaverse. And yes, they are really, really taking the world with the storm with the kind of possibilities they have shown in the past few months, for that matter. So yes, I would like to say one more time, in case you have missed our previous sessions, I see a lot of new faces today, new names today. So in case you have missed our last few sessions, look at SowtexConnect, and you will be able to access the video recordings of all of these sessions. And in case you have joined halfway on this session, the recording of this particular session will soon be uploaded on the same format on SowtexConnect in Sunil Arora's profile, whereby we have the consultant profiles, where Sunil will be able to, you will be able to access Sunil's profile, and under that, you will be able to access his sessions, which are available. So yes, go ahead, do that. And along with that, do not forget to keep looking at the mails from Sotex, whereby you will be able to get an access of some more sessions which are coming. We do one session with on Metaverse every single month. And yes, next session will happen sometime mid of July. And we will keep you updated about that. Zain Samdani also says a thank you for an insightful session. Thank you so much, Zain, for connecting and being here today and listening to the session, right? Before I actually close the session today, I would like to, of course, first of all, thank you, Sunil, for again give tons of insights today about B2C, and I could see some visuals which were amazing for that matter. And of course, talking more about B2B. And I would like to just talk about Arvind. You have just asked a question around want to learn 3D, which software is good. So Arvind, we along with Tukatech have partnered, and you can actually look at Sotex Design Labs. You will be able to see the details and the possibilities there, right? Zen Samdani, you have said, will the recording be shared? Zen, the recordings are available on the link which my team member has put in just now. I'm going to put that link again. It is called connect.sotex.com, or you go there, search for a consultant, Sunil Arora, as you see, and you will be able to see all the recordings there. They are available. This recording will be available by tomorrow onto the portal as well, right? So coming back to it, thank you so much, Sunil, for this very insightful session. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us here. And then before I actually close the session, I would like to again talk about two of our events, the buyer seller meets, which are coming up in the next month. 5th of July, we are doing a special buyer seller meet, our fourth in the series, and that is happening with the Home Textiles Hub of Panipat after our successful sessions buyer seller meet in Jaipur in the month of May. And after Panipat, 20 days later, we will see a lot of our people meeting 500 of exporters in Bangladesh, Dhaka, where 25th and 26th, we are doing the mill meet in Dhaka. Yes, this is a part of our series of sessions, series of mill meets, physical sessions, which we are doing, along with tons of digital sessions, which we have been doing on, and this one session, which is there, is again, of course, testimony of that fact. One more time, Sunil, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you very much. I look forward to my new sessions the next month. And in
Absolutely.
case there are any questions, I'm looking forward to your questions, and we are happy to connect.
Wonderful, wonderful. Just a correction, the sessions in Dhaka are on 27th and 28th of the next month. And Arvind, we did have a session. Arvind has asked a question, when can we have a meet in Gurgaon? Arvind, we had a session on the Delhi NCR, which happened in Delhi, in Mayur Vihar Holiday Inn. And we had an amazing session along with Noida Apparel Export Cluster, as well as sourcing consultants of association. This session happened in February. And yes, we will soon come back for sessions, for meets in Delhi again. But right now, our series of other cities is going on, and we'll of course come back to Gurgaon, Delhi, and NCR for that matter. With this, I would like to say a wonderful thank you all and a great good evening, the rest of the evening for you all. And we will definitely be seeing you with a lot more such sessions, the physical mode as well as the online digital mode. Since you're already here in this session, you are definitely bound to get more information from us. Keep looking at it, the sessions or mails from SowtexConnect sessions, and you will keep getting a lot of information. Zen says a very wonderful thank you. He is in Bionic Healthcare Solutions with an inclusion of Metaverse as well. They'll be looking forward to more information sessions. So Zen, please keep looking at these sessions. We are bound to help you, and we can definitely help you with these sessions. And I'm sure they are adding value to you. With this, a wonderful thank you, and see you next time for one of our sessions. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.